Yo, what is up, guys? It's DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I am going to be getting coached by Kenny YuGiOh on Metafy. And alright, I'm gonna go ahead, and I think it's about to start here in a second. So he said, he said, DB Grinder alt, are you ready for class? I'm gonna say it. Oh no, the goo leaked. Oh wait. Oh wait. That's because my name is DB Grinder Alt. I forgot to change my name back. Oh no, I was using the account as a test for Coliseum. So that's a little bit bad, but um yeah, that was unfortunate. That was a misclick. But alright, so I'm just gonna try to play the Spright build from Ding Con Palm. Alright. Calling her now. Yo, what's up?
Hello? Yo, what's up, Austin?
What's up, bro? I forgot to change the name from DB Grinder alt. Yeah,
Wait, that undercover series?
yeah.
Oh shit! I should have played dumb. Should have been like, yo, who is this?
Imagine. But
I know that would have been funny. Give me one sec.
alright.
Alright, you picked the right deck for this.
Oh, of course. You know I had to pick Sprite for you.
And make it easy on me. Alright.
Yeah, this is just a Dincon Palms list. Oh, like
Yeah,
literally card for card.
yeah. Dude, you know I actually talked to him, so I
Oh,
got
oh.
like some of his insights.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you want to make a video or anything? Or just like whatever?
Oh yeah, I'm recording right now.
Oh, okay. Dope. Okay. Alright, so you know what's funny? I actually had this exact list. However, like some of the ratios were changed around. So what in particular, uh, you want me to work with? Main side, or just
um,
how to play it?
so I feel like I know how to play the deck, so I've been playing it a bunch. But like,
Yeah,
cause
I
like,
saw one of your streams.
I feel like the Melffy cards are really good. I like these cards a lot. Um,
Yeah.
how do you feel about like Smashers?
Smashers. So I think you have to have all of the utility one-ofs, like the Gamma Burst, Smashers, and Double Cross. So typically when you go first, you're always searching Double Cross, right? Like in any combo. But the utility of Smashers going second is too good to like clear monsters to like be able to get in with Mosquito and stuff. So it's
Hmm.
kind of a brick, but I think it's necessary still.
All right. And then how do you feel about like the whole like Gamma E-Tele package?
Gamma. Okay, so the Gamma Utility package is probably like the newest addition to the deck, and like not many people are playing it right now. But I think it's probably one of the most solid solutions to Arise Pass, which is what most people are doing. Because typically, whenever the Kashtira players go Arise Heart Pass with their materials, they'll have a Forbidden Land set. So you're able to use Gamma in like combine with like a Prosperity, for example, or if you just like have it in your hand, then it's mandatory, so you can gamma at any time. And like one of my favorite combos against like a Rise Heart Pass, or like combo in quotes, is like Prosperity, and then you can add a gamma. But even if they know you have it, they can't do anything about it. They have to use the Rise Heart, so you get to gamma them for free. So that's nice. And then on top of that, being able to play E-Teles in your deck means that you have a more plays to play through the most common cards right now, which is Book of Eclipse and Book of Moon as well. So I think it's solid. It's good.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. Do you think that
Yeah.
these are like still worth playing, even though like the Gamma and Driver are like relatively bad going first?
Yeah, it's still worth it. I think it's the same idea as like some of the decks that I've been seeing or like been playing is main decking evenly, And I think this like just falls in the same category. Like for example, we're not main decking evenly in like this list, my list as well. So if you're not main decking evenly, then it's like fine to have like a one go second card. That sometimes will work when you have starter or prosperity. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine.
All right. Do you like draw in the main deck?
Draw, yeah, I actually. So draw is also one of the new additions. So when I say like new additions, I mean like it's not like commonly played. Now a lot of people will play like imperm in its slot, which I noticed that you or me are not playing imperm. But draw just has a higher impact right now because in this specific deck you play Gamma Burst, so you can actually capitalize on the draw, which typically small decks or decks that can't OTK as well, they can't really capitalize on using draw because they can't OTK. But with this deck, you can. So I think it's like really solid. And also it hits the two of the biggest meta decks, which is Cash and Branded. So it's like good against the meta. It's like good in this deck because of Gamma Burst. So I think it's solid.
Okay. And then do you like the soul sweepers for the mosquito one?
Mosquito, yeah, I think it's solid because honestly, one of the issues, or not, it's not really an issue, but like this deck only has like one line of like play, and it's just like through the sprites. So if you have access to the sprites in your opening hand, your gigantic summons nothing. So it's like another thing to summon off gigantic that like increases your board quality. So like as a one of is fine, and it's a level 2, so like you can't really go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then I guess we can like talk about the side deck, cause the side
Yeah.
deck is a little bit weird. Um, like I saw that you made a video about Bell. I actually watched it like yesterday. I'm pretty sure.
No.
So,
Yeah.
do you think it's like worth side decking the Bell and like
Yeah. No.
Lancia?
Yeah, I think Bell and Lancia are insane. Simply because like Bell, as I made in one of my videos, it can hit like every rogue deck that's not Kashtira. And right now I'm maining it because I also have like a meta read currently, as of like this time, that Kashtira isn't actually as popular as people think. I would say it's the most represented, but not by a large margin. So I'm actually main decking Bell in my list because against every other deck it's so good. Like against like Runic Naturia, it hits like Fountain, Mole Cricket, Blessing, and then against Labyrinth, it hits like Terrors of the Overroot and Big Welcome, and then obvious applications against Branded Despia. It's probably like one of the solid cards. So it's fine, and then randomly you can hit like a Birth if it's in your main deck. So that's just like a funny bonus. But Lancia is like great and as well. So I think Lancia is great because of the biggest overlap is that it hits evenly for no reason. So on top of like hitting like the runic cards from being able to like use its secondary effects and catch tier from like prosperity and rise heart and stuff, you just have like a bonus that hits evenly. So like it's a well-rounded hand trap right now, and also it also has the added bonus that like it's not like a Nibiru where like they have the choice to play around it. You just kind of Lancia them and that's it. You know, like there is no like counterplay, so to speak. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay, and then how do you feel about playing like always going first cards? Cause like I kind of like the appointer a lot, especially just to try to
The
hit like
Wonder's insane.
yeah, like Sphere Mode Lava Golem. Holy, those cards
Yeah,
destroy the stack.
yeah, it's like the only card actually that stops those type of cards. But the Ghost Second cards are solid. So I'm actually experimenting with D Barrier in my list instead of Solemn Judgment. I know like the bonus of Solemn Judgment is that it protects like your board. But I always feel like this deck was kind of lacking against Despia because the board quality isn't actually that strong against that deck. So that's why I played D Barrier. And then obviously it hits like some other matchups as well. But Solemn is like I feel like Solemn is like exclusively for evenly. I don't really find myself Solemn judgmenting like anything else besides that. And if they couldn't like get past the board, then like I already won. So the Solemn is okay. Well, let me rephrase. It's like good if like most people are on evenly. But if not, I would actually try to use D Barrier. Because the full combo with this board against Despia is actually kind of sus because the timings for you to use Caddy isn't optimal against Despia. Um, but yeah, like the going first cards are solid though. in terms of what they do. And if a pointer was at 3, we'd max out a pointer, because like you said, it hits Lava Golem and Sphere mode, so that's insane. But like a pointer plus 3 evenly or 3D barrier, depending. So I think it's solid. It's like worth the spot.
And then, so I like the change of heart. The change of heart's kind of crazy. Would you also play
Same.
like mind control?
So it's funny because like change of heart and mind control, obviously they're like quote unquote like the same type of deal. The thing is like the change of heart, I found myself when I was playtesting this thing is that it's actually really relevant that you can attack, because a lot of times you're trying to OTK after you change of heart or mind control. So for example, let's say you like Ash or Droll, or you do something to stop Unicorn, and then it passes back to you. Sometimes you can't really OTK if you can't use the Unicorn to attack, because you can't go for the mosquito lines if they don't have a monster. So like it's kind of relevant sometimes. Like for example, if you can't really get to the Gamma Burst, or you have to like do something along the ways where they have some interruption, then I think it's relevant that you can do that. Uh, but my control is good. I just felt like sometimes I needed to attack, so that's why I didn't play it. But it is an option. But I would actually prioritize every other card in your side deck that I'm seeing right now a lot more before that.
Okay, okay. And then, like the 4 back removal spots. Do you think it's better to play
Mhm.
like Lightning Storm over, maybe something else like a Cosmic to be better against like Runic?
Yeah, so I think so right now I'm not playing Cosmic at all, although I think it's like really good against fountains and stuff. And Birth as well, and like things like that. But if I only play Cosmic, I kind of get blown out by Labyrinth setting too much back row. So I think it's like fine. Um, and also another thing that I do with this deck a lot that I don't see a lot of people do is against the matchups that like Cosmic would be good against, like such as like for example, let's say Kashtira or Labyrinth. Against both of those decks, I actually picked to go second. So that's why I choose to play Lightning Storm, because it has such a higher impact, and at the same time, they typically side out their Solemn Judgments because they believe that they're about to go first. So you get a lot more value when you play Lightning Storm if you play like in this type of style that I play. So I think you should keep playing Lightning Storm.
So why do you choose to go second against those decks?
Yeah, I choose to go second because they have cards that blow you out that don't take multiples. So the thing is, like, I will choose like just a rule of thumb in like Yu-Gi-Oh for myself is that like whenever they need 2 cards to like break your field, for example, like if my board is outed by Nib Imperm, then I would just pick to go first because that's just ridiculous if they have it, right? But the thing is, against those Kashtira and Labyrinth decks, you kind of die to 1 card. Like if Kashtira just has a single Lava Golem or single Sphere mode, where you can't get to Carrot and they just have a single evenly, even Dark Ruler. Uh, if I just die to a single card, I don't really like to go first, because then I feel like I'm actually more fragile because I lose to everything. Um, so it's the same concept. Even against Labyrinth, if you're looking at the top list right now between like YCS Vegas and stuff, you'll see like like for example Ryan Uzek, he plays Sphere mode and he plays evenly. So like those cards work by themselves, and I don't like how my board is outed by a single card, and that's why I pick going second. Because if you notice, those cards that I mentioned also are exclusively for going second. Like almost none of those cards work going first. So that's why I let them start. And between the Lightning Storms and I don't see it in your list, but in my list I'm also playing evenly. Between Harpies, Lightning Storm evenly, and Prosperity, and drawing a 6 card, I feel like I have a higher chance to win going second, because they can just draw one single card to out my board, while I have a chance to draw multiple type of cards. And also, it's a lot easier when they sided wrong and they're playing with like a 3 to 4 card hand, because they probably have like a go second card in their hand as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why.
Also, do you like evenly in this deck? Because I feel like a lot of the time when I go second, I want to just like end the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, so like so I actually have that like logic as well, with like evenly. Uh so it's one of the reasons why at first I didn't play evenly. However, it's really awkward because sometimes I feel like I'm forced to keep in Prosperity because the consistency will be way too low if I take it out. And like if I want to play cards like Lightning Storm evenly, I feel like the advantages of this deck is that you can prosp into it. Uh, so if I'm gonna use Prosperity, then I can't OTK anyways. Um, so that's why I ended up playing evenly, because the chances that you get to OTK require you to have such a good hand without Prosperity that it's not like very likely. Like in order to OTK, you'll need like 2 hand traps, a beaver, and a blue, but you can't Prosperity into any of them. You just have to hard draw them, and I feel like it's sometimes hard to get to. But if like your hand allows for it, then yeah, you should go for the OTK. But I think it's fine playing evenly because it is more consistent in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, how do you feel about the two Zeus? Because I feel like even if you only play one Zeus, a lot of cash players are just ripping Mosquito anyways. Just because
Really? Yeah.
Mosquito just like can like put game on
And
field, while Zeus they'll
yeah.
still have another turn.
Yeah, it's like questionable. I think like so double Zeus has been like a default ever since the Kashtira came out. So low-key, I feel like some people just throw in double Zeus just because it's like duh, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've noticed it's fine for me to play double Zeus. Uh, because I haven't noticed them taking out Mosquito because okay, well they do take out Mosquito because I am playing double Zeus. However, I don't know what they would do if I had one. Like I don't know if they would rip the Mosquito if I had one, right? Like obviously like they're gonna rip out Mosquito because I have two, but I don't know what they would do if I had one Zeus. So that's the thing. But I realize I do Zeus a decent amount of times. Um, Not as much anymore because I did cut down on like for example on my list and we can talk about this. I don't play Book of Eclipse, so the chances of me Zeusing isn't even that high because that's the only card where you really want to Zeus, because with any other card you're not really resolving Zeus. So I think it's something to look into. But I actually don't know what extra deck slot like would be efficient besides like IP or the Gin Buster, but I don't think those cards are great, particularly in this deck either.
Yeah, that's fair. Cause like
Mm.
the other build that I had, hold on, let me go ahead and show it. This build is it's a work in progress. First of all, just throw that one out there. Um,
No judgment.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like I cut like every going first card just because I was like testing all the going second stuff. But yeah, this is like the extra
Yeah.
deck I had for it right now. But this is also without like
Uh-huh.
the gamma in the deck, so like, there's no
Right.
lambda too.
Okay, so you're playing like Dagusto and you're playing Calvary.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, those cards are solid, but they kind of serve the same role as Mosquito, right? They kind of, or not like the Calvary, but the Phoenix. Like it's just to end the game. But with Phoenix, you also need Pixies because that just makes the most sense. Because Dagusto Phoenix plus Pixies, just like a combo in itself.
Yeah.
So the Cavalry can also be played because it's like it outs monsters. So like, I guess you can add those cards if you don't play Zeus. I just feel kind of safe with Zeus, but I don't know if that's like a comfort thing or not. Um, but yeah. So I
Uh,
guess you could play as Cavalry.
and then how do you feel about maybe playing like IP Zero Boros just for like the labyrinth matchup?
Yeah. So like that combo is probably really good. I do like it. Um, it doesn't. It actually doesn't seem that bad to be honest. Because well the thing is, like I said, I choose to go second, so for me it doesn't come up. But if you have a strategy where it goes first, I think it's fine. The only issue that I kind of have with it is that so if you want IP and Zero Boros to resolve, that must mean that you one picked to go first, and two they also didn't have evenly or sphere mode. So I feel like in those scenarios, like you should be winning already because they just didn't draw a single go second card. But there is an argument to say that they can break your board by setting floodgates. So I think it's fine, but I think it's a little bit risky in the scenarios where you should be winning already. Simply simply for the reason that I said, like if you go first and they didn't have evenly or sphere mode, like I think you're solid. You don't really need to blow out all five of their back rows on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Also, you've been talking about evenly a lot. Can't you just like end
Yeah.
on carrot like game two, game three, and like try to beat that?
Yeah, you can, and that's what I prioritize. But the thing is, like, there's some hands where you simply just can't do it, because a lot of times I would prefer, right, my jet to search double cross because it makes my field quality a lot better. So that's like the ideal route. But if you don't open carrot, that means your starter you have to use jet to search starter, which means you won't have access to a double cross because that starter will be able to summon carrot. So that's like the issue there, unless you hard draw it, or you just draw blue and jet, then you have the luxury to use your blue to search your carrot. Um, so that's the only reason. It's that, like, it's not whether it's my choice or not. It's more of like, does my hand allow it? So that's why it's not something that I can reliably count on. But yes, if I have the option to, I will always end on carrot over red every time, because everyone plays evenly. At least that's what I've seen and I've noticed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um,
Mhm.
and then do you like the nightmares?
Yeah, nightmares are insane. It's funny because I actually didn't like these cards for the longest time, but I just didn't like see the. Well, I mean the lines are kind of obvious, but I just didn't see the lines sometimes. But with these cards, it's like every time you draw Angler going second, you always want to throw these cards in first, just like a rule of thumb uh to like play through boards, right? Like at any time they have one set or they have like a monster, even if it's a monster that you don't really care about, you always want to throw your Cerberus or your Phoenixes into it because they'll always eat out some interruption, and then your anglers can generate that into gigantic for 3200 because you can just overlay the nightmare monster plus your beaver that you summon off the angler. Uh, and then that also baits out another thing. But if that thing gets interrupted, then your gigantic can still attack and make Zeus. So it's like you can play through a lot more with like these two cards going second when you have Angler, and I think it's like worth the spot because every time you like resolve any of these cards and then like you're playing through interruption, it's really solid. I found myself winning a lot with these two cards.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I've been liking these cards a lot too.
Mhm.
They've been pretty nice. Uh,
Yeah, they're nice.
do you like the double sprint? I know it's pretty much just there for like cash trying to like rip an extra X
Thank
spot.
you, thing. Yeah, the thing is like it's really hard to say because we play two of everything, so we never see them rip it. But the thing is, we don't know what would happen if we had one, right? So that's like kind of like the issue. But if you were to ask someone, I think if they saw one Sprin, one Mosquito, two Zeus, I actually think they would rip the Sprin before the Mosquito, because the Sprin gets them to the Mosquito, and typically that's how you get the bodies anyways. So I think they would actually just rip the Sprin, and it low key hits the Mosquito in the process. It's kind of like hitting. If you hit Dante, you also hit Beatrice. So it's kind of like that same idea. So I think you still need two for that reason.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like I wanted to play one of those for a little bit because like I'd cut this down to one and I was like, oh, well, I could probably
Yeah, I
also
can
cut
cut
this
this
down.
too, huh?
And
Yeah,
yeah, and then
yeah.
and then I was like, wait, no, I probably can't do that. This card's crazy.
No, that guy did say no, you can't.
Do you like playing the Mary Melffys?
Uh, yeah, it's funny because I actually have never summoned this card, even though it's in the extra deck, and I know what it does. Obviously it bounces a card and it's like an interruption. I feel like I always go for Herald over Mary, so I actually am considering cutting it. Because the Herald makes it really safe, right? So like typically if they're playing into your board and you're able to resolve your caddy back to your hand, the reason why they're doing that most of the times instead of scooping, obviously unless it's game 3, like if they look at your board and they know they can't beat it, they're just gonna scoop anyways. But if they're trying to actively break through your board, you always want to make Herald because there's no reason why they're trying to break your board unless they have thrusting or talents, which is typically what they're trying to do if they're prying through your board. So every time I go caddy, I will always instantly make Herald because I don't want to get thrusting or I don't want to get talents. Because it's really weird that you're trying to force through my board. Like my board's broken. Like just scoop, bro. You know. But if you're still playing, it's like you have talents or you have thrusting. So I find myself always making the Herald over the Mary Melffy. It's a lot more safe as well. So
Uh,
nah, I don't think it comes up.
so let's say like you win game one against like Kachira. Game
Yeah.
two, would you take out the Melfi stuff?
Yes, because I would assume unless I mean obviously like it like kind of depends, right? But like I would probably make the read that my opponent would still pick to go first. Um, so I would take out the Melffy stuff if I have the read that they will start, which I think most people will start. So yeah, so I would take out the Melffy cards for that matchup if I win game one.
Okay, okay. And then also, you said that you didn't play Book of Eclipse.
Mhm.
What do you play instead of this card?
Okay, so my list, the thing that's a little bit different from yours, and I can actually send it in our chat. Uh, okay, so the thing that's different from yours that I see is the only thing is I play Bell in the main over Eclipse. Now the thing about Eclipse that I personally don't really like is one is like terrible going first. I just don't think it's like a real interruption. It's kind of fake. And I don't like that it's only good against Kashtira typically. I feel like a lot of the other decks out there right now, their main goal is to not lose to Eclipse, even as a rogue deck, right? So we can see like rogue decks right now, like for example, they're playing like you've seen like even a Marincess top, like a Salaman Great Got Far. I mean I know it's Peru, but we won't talk about that. But and Tri Brigade Spright and like stuff like that. And you notice like these rogue decks, along with the meta decks too, right? That aren't Kashtira, like Labyrinth and Despia, they don't really lose to Eclipse as hard or as much. So I don't like that it only is good against one matchup, and it's only good against that matchup going second, and it's only good if they don't have Ash. So like, there's so many scenarios where that card it takes up for it to be good. It's such a meta read card. Like if you expect to go to an event with like 10 cashier, for example, I think it'd be good. But I don't think we're at that spot right now. So that's why I don't really like the Eclipse, and I prefer the Bell because it has such more wide range of coverage, and it's like an interruption when you go first, second as well. So that's why I'm not playing it right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you mind if I
Mm.
pull up the deck like in the video?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, like the
Hmm.
lists, like you said, it's like Bell in the main. It's not like
Yep.
too many differences. I do like
Yeah, I looked
all
at
the
the list.
back
I was like, it's pretty
row.
similar.
Like
Yeah.
holy.
Yeah, I run with the full package because the thing about the evenlings is that it's such a cross matchup card. Like you can use it against back row and you can also use it against cash.
Hmm.
So I like the dual purpose.
Do you like evenly a lot versus like Kashtira?
Yeah, I do. I actually like it a lot because a lot of times against this deck, because so you'll see like obviously in our decks, right? We're playing a bunch of hand traps, so naturally a lot of players will just assume we play Nibiru because like they assume that you were trying to combine Nibiru with one of our smaller hand traps. So they always kind of tunnel into playing around Nib by going a Rise Heart and like setting a bunch of back row and stuff. So the evenly really catches them there because I think they're really focused on you having hand traps. They're not really focusing you on having evenly. Um, so I think it's like pretty solid, and also it's like it can it can deal with the board like efficiently even if they go for like the zone lock because they have to like dump their hand most of the time, so they're only keeping like one or two cards, and typically after you evenly them they're just gonna keep a rise, and then a rise should be pretty easy to be dealt with because with the new addition in our decks, which is Itelli, it makes that playing through like a rise much easier. Because if you have a normal summon along with the starter or an Itelli, now we have 6 copies, you can play through the rise hard. So I think the evenly is really solid against Kashtira.
All right. Also, I noticed the three Gigantic. What's that all
Yep.
about?
Alright, so the three gigantic. So I was talking to Ding King Fam, and he also was playing three gigantic as well, and I saw in one of his lists. Now I think the reason why we play three gigantic, or I want to still, is because the slot that was in its place was Lambda. And the thing is, the Lambda doesn't actually come up because you don't actually have enough bodies to go into Lambda and Melffy of the Forest. So that card was kind of useless. And we didn't, like I said earlier, we didn't want to use IP or the Jin Buster. So the Gigantic was like a slot that lets us OTK a lot easier. Because it's one of those things where we just kind of, or I feel like when I play, I burn through them a lot. Simply because like it's the first action that I use and to play around Nib. And it also is the card that you can throw into anything, and it's such a back row interruption bait. Like I would just throw this card randomly into shit. and then try to see what that gets me. And in return, sometimes I actually find out that I need 3. It rarely comes up, but it's better than the Lambda that didn't come up at all. So that's why I played it in the rare cases that it comes up. But if there's another extra deck card that I think could come up, I would play it. Another thing I'm like kind of considering might be like the cards that you showed me earlier, which is the Sky Cavalry or the Gusto Phoenix. But more so Sky Cavalry because I'm not playing Pixies. So it could be interchangeable, but it's kind of like Lambda didn't come up, so it was there.
Yeah, I found that like the Sky Cavalry was coming up against Despia when I wasn't able to like Mosquito, just cause like
Yeah,
Mirror Jade's such a crazy card. I'm not gonna lie, that card is so
I
good.
know. Yeah, that card's insane. It's probably, I mean, Cavalry is probably one of the only things that like that you can out it and it doesn't trigger the destruction effect. So that's like good.
hmm Okay. So I think we kind of went over most of the things. I guess I can show like
Yeah.
a quick like cash list. We talked about this a little bit. This was
Yeah.
yeah, this
Sure.
is the one I had just for this one little video. Um,
Yeah. Wait,
alright.
who's this list? Or is this your own?
Uh, this was my buddy's list, like the main deck, but it has changed a
Mhm.
lot since then. So
Yeah.
that's why I was
It
like,
looks pretty cookie cutter.
yeah, not too much crazy about it. Um,
Yeah.
I think I don't like Chalice. I don't really like Eclipse that much in this deck either. Actually, instead of Eclipse,
Yeah.
I've been preferring like just regular Moon.
Dude, you know what I was saying? I was actually, it was funny. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and I told him the exact same thing. It's just, I think it's better, like straight up.
Yeah, yeah. I've been liking this card
Mm.
way more than Eclipse, especially because like I don't know,
Yeah,
this card is awkward going first.
yeah.
Letting them draw
Is
cards is
I,
horrible.
yeah, I think it is actually terrible, and it's like kind of expected. But Book of Moon going first is like crazy because you get to keep your board too. You don't have to book your own board. So like,
Hmm. How do you feel about like Danko Seka and maybe like Cash and Branded?
yeah. So okay, so for Denko Seka, it's funny that you asked that because Denko Seka for the YCS Vegas 3v3. I was helping one of my friends build his Despia deck, and we actually came to the conclusion that Denko was like the best card on like Thursday night. So like, I actually brought him the idea of Denko because I think it's like solid. There's pretty much nothing they can do besides Solemn, and if you're able to have like Denko plus opening or Brand Fusion, they just lose instantly. They can't even trigger their ladies because they simply cannot flip up their traps at period. So Denko is like solid there. And what was the other question about Cash and Branded?
Oh, I was just saying like, do you think Danko would be good in Cash, or would you not play it in
Oh,
this?
are we good in Cash? I don't think it would be because you have to have control no monsters unless you have birth. But then it's not like that ideal because you only have 3 birth. So probably not in Cash, but definitely in Branded for sure, because you do have opening and Branded Fusion, and you also have allures to draw into them. So I think in Branded it's okay. It's actually probably preferred in Branded, but not in Cash.
So like, what was coming up when my buddy was testing this card? Because I haven't personally tested it in Cash yet. Is he would just like
Uh,
summon a Cash Tira, and then like most people weren't like flipping their skill drain on summon or like flipping floodgates on summon, and then he just like normal summon Danko, and then
right.
that's just like an instant. Like if it's Fenrir, it's like a 2 turn clock, right there.
Yeah.
Or Unicorn,
Mm.
just try to go for game.
Mm. Okay,
Um,
so I see what you're saying. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, like I think that it's decent. I don't know if
Mm.
I'd play it over something like Lightning Storm though. I think Cosmic is really really solid too in this deck, just because like
Yeah, I
the
love
runic
Cosmic.
decks are getting more and more popular.
Mm.
Oh, also, what do you think about Magic Deflector?
Oh, I think that card's like kind of insane actually. I feel like it's D bear in the mirror match, so I think it's solid. However, there's a problem though. So Magic Reflector, while it is D-Bear in the mirror and it's really good, the thing is like the mirror is not the only deck, so that's like the problem there. So like I see that your buddy plays Solemn Judgment, and I think that's actually just better because like I said, like Cashier is not the only deck, and you're most likely not going to play 10,000 mirrors. You're going to play probably 2 or 3. So you want like a generic card such as Solemn. But if it was all mirror matches, it would definitely be Deflector over Solemn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair.
Mm.
Then, do you think this deck should play like more hand traps, or do you think it should play more like cards like Book of Eclipse, Book of Moon?
Okay, so you're asking if like hand traps are better than board breakers, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So the thing is, yeah. So I actually was helping one of my friends who just got back to the game, who was playing Kashtira, or he started to pick up Kashtira, right? And he's actually been doing pretty well with it, surprisingly, for like someone coming back. And I told him in this meta game, or at least where we're headed, especially into like the later events, like the 250th. I think the hand trap route is way better than the board breaking route. As of right now, obviously that could change with like people, doing different things. But I think the hand traps are a lot better because the Kashtira deck is too unpredictable with its playstyle. So you never know what it will do. You never know what the opponent can do. The opponent, right? You can get two players who have the exact same deck list, but they can play it completely different. And that's the issue with board breakers, that it relies your opponent to play in one specific way too much. Like if you play Nib, Lava Golem, Sphere, and stuff like that, then you're always hoping that they do full combo and you just lose to Arise. But if you do play Gamma Seal and like small cards, right, then you kind of lose to their Lock 5 combo. So either way is like you're kind of rolling a dice if you play any of those type of board breaker cards. But with hand traps, you're always secure in like anything. So like Ash Unicorn, whether they're going, or sorry, not Ash, or Imperm Unicorn, is, it doesn't matter if they were planning to Zone 5 lock you or go Rise Heart Pass, you're still Imperm the Unicorn, so it doesn't matter. So in the same light, you can also play Veiler and Mourner, right? Which I see some lists are playing right now. And like, no matter what plan that they were planning to go for, the hand traps will always cover the exact same thing. So that's why I think like the hand traps currently right now are really good. Like I would play Veiler, Mourners, and potentially even Droll, for the exact same reasons, where like they don't rely on your opponent playing a specific way right now. So I think over like the Chalices, for example, and the Eclipse, I would actually add like Veiler, Mourner, and probably find a way to fit in Droll somewhere here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think, kind of like you were saying, like you were saying earlier, like the book cards are just like getting worse and worse too, especially as like people are
Yeah,
branching
they're
out
getting
to
worse.
more decks. Yeah, feel like,
Yep.
you play against like Runic Nacheria, and like,
It's so bad.
yeah, it's never gonna do anything. Like at best, you're like
Yeah.
trading with like a Floor Negate.
Yeah, and that's just not ideal. But also the added bonus of like the hand traps, right? Not only is it good against cash, but like against every other deck. Like you tell me Veiler isn't good against Rogue, like it's gonna hit something, you know?
Yeah. The hand trap's gotta hit something every time.
Yeah, they gotta
Hopefully.
hit something. That's why. Yeah, we're hoping, but typically, yeah.
hmm how do you feel about this card?
Uh, okay, so I was actually thinking about playing that card as well. I think it's solid. I like it. I think it it solves a lot of the problems, right? Like it does hit like their zone combo and it does hit a rise pass. So I do think it's solid. However, I don't know if it's too good against any other matchup other than Kashtira, but it is one of the more solid ones against Cash. So I think it's fine. I actually am considering playing it myself. Uh, so I would play it because it covers a lot more on what the Kashtira is trying to do. But if I could find more application with this card against other matchups, I would definitely play it. But for right now, I think it's only good against Kashtira. I don't know how good it is against like Spright or Branded or things like that.
hmm and then how do you feel about like the extra like targets for Pot of Prosperity? Because like some people
Prosperity.
like Goliath, Garua, like all those type of cards.
Mm.
Would you play like multiple of them, or maybe just play one, or like none at all?
I'd probably play one because once you know the matchup, it's nice to get a single card. because I think it matters a lot more when you're trying to go for a rise pass. Like for example, if I go for a rise pass and I have prosperity, no, if I have prosperity, I'm more likely to go for a rise pass because I know I can equip the Goliath, and that can like stop a good amount of things. And I believe Goliath is it's protecting by destruction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for example, if I know I'm playing against like even runic decks, then I know like that's one less out to flashing fire, for example. So I think like you should play the. I think like the best target is actually the Goliath because once you have knowledge of what they're playing, it makes it so that you can make your Rise Heart a little bit better. Um, so I think it's fine considering or to dedicate one slot, but I would never go for two because then it's just like you actually need your extra deck, bro.
Yeah. Also, do you think Ibli could potentially be worth playing again? Because like before it was like everyone played two of those, so like
Yeah.
it was kind of bad. But I haven't
Right.
seen like anybody on Lingribo recently.
Yeah. I think it's good, right? And it could come back, but I do think Um, let's say we look at a lot of the lists and we realize that a lot of them aren't playing Ibli, which is good because then or a lot of them are not playing Lingeribo. I mean, so we can go for Ibli again. Um, so it is solid. I do like it, and I think it could be one of those meta call things. So I can't really say for sure because if I say it and then everyone's back on Lingeribo, then it sounds bad. But currently, I think it's actually not that bad. The only issue that I kind of have is that like against Labyrinth, which is only one matchup, is fine, is that they don't even have enough cards in their extra deck to play, so they're just gonna always play Lingeribo, even if it's not like meta, because like it's more of like a why not thing, because they don't play anything else. So it's annoying there, but against for Kashtira players or like the mirror, I think it's like pretty solid, and it's also really good against like branded as well and things like that. Uh, so I actually think it has potential. I would consider looking into it. Um, but leading up to like future events, though, I would actually kind of look at prior deck lists to see if they're outing it. But Ibli is still hella broken if it works. So
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
It does feel
Like,
weird to play stuff like that sometimes though, where it's like,
mm.
do they play the out? Do they not play the out? Especially when it's just like an
Yeah, that's
extra
why it's
card like
annoying.
that.
Yeah, like I just don't. I don't like I don't know. The format's kind of weird. Like I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. I don't like this whole guessing game. That's why like I like told you earlier. Like I just love the hand traps because they don't make me guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, if you were to play cash, and you open like I don't know, like full five lock combo plus
Yeah.
like maybe like a Ash Imperm, would you go for
Mm.
the five lock combo or would you just go for a Rise Heart pass?
Game one blind, I would actually go for the zone 5 lock combo. I would actually just try to win right there. Uh, Because well, one, I'm protected from Book of Eclipse, right? And I'm also protected from like branded fusion. Even if they have an out for my board, then I can always Ash their like play. Uh, and the reason why I think that's better is because right now, currently, what I'm seeing is a lot of people aren't main decking Nib, and I also think Lava Golem and Sphere Mode are side deck cards. So the only time I'm able to zone lock them is probably game one. Like that's the highest chance that I can get with this meta. So I actually would, yeah, I would go for it.
I would also go for it. It's so broken
Dude,
game
fuck
one.
it, fuck it, right? Dude, it's like it's broken. Like, dude, fuck it, better have it.
Mhm. But all right. I know the hour's not up, but I
Yep.
think we really talked about everything that I had questions about when it came to like deck building. With like Sprite and Cash. I mean, there's really not like that much to talk about with Cash Tira. Um,
Yeah, it's more of like a meta trend discussion of anything.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
went
yeah.
over that. Yeah.
It's definitely interesting how like everyone was
Mm.
playing three nib like mandatory before, and then
Yeah, but now I don't even see it, like because they're so afraid of a rise pass that I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going for the zone 5, bro.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
The zone five is so broken.
I
But
know.
all right, do you want to like shout out your like stuff before we go?
Yeah, sure. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I stream on Twitch and then also have my YouTube, and they're the same handle. It's Kenny YGO, just my name with YGO. I know, very creative. Those are my two channels. I upload videos pretty much every week, and then stream or try to stream a few times a week as well. And also, obviously, this is a coaching session, so you can get your coaching session with me too. Hopefully, you put it in the description below, and things like that. So yeah, I hope that people found it insightful of what I said and my theories and all that, and hopefully, I could help you out as well.
All right, yeah, I'll put it all down below at the very top of the description so you can go check out all this stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for doing this coaching session. I won the Metafy raffle. Got a free coaching session. Kind of nice.
Nice. Yep, we take those.
And with all that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day.